Good afternoon. My name is Jim Langhenry. I'm with Content for Engineers, and we're sitting here today with Dr. Robert Bishop. He's the OPUS Dean of Engineering, and he just joined Marquette University in July. And we want to ask him a few questions today about how he's delivering content today to the engineering community and how he's educating the students. And we'd also like to talk to him about the new facility they're building here on campus. So welcome, Bob. I'm going to turn the microphone over to Bob, and I'm going to ask Bob to address the first question today, which is Marquette is building a new engineering facility. And why is this building important, and how will it change how and what you teach today? Bob?
Well, thank you. The new building that we're constructing is the Discovery Learning Complex. And what's special about this building is that it's here where we will have innovation in action. And what I mean by that is this is the time when the students will be able to apply the engineering principles, science principles, mathematics, to the design and implementation of engineering devices. So I'm talking about from concept to product, including some of the soft engineering topics such as budgets, schedules, and specifications, customers, and things like that. So this is going to be an opportunity for the first time for many of our students to actually tinker with hardware, to utilize lathes and other types of tools to build machines, and then to operate them and possibly to see them put forth into the marketplace.
Thanks, Bob. I think that's a good introduction to my next question, and you've touched upon it earlier when we spoke. One of the signature labs in your new Discovery Learning Complex is called Discovery Learning Lab. And what is Discovery Learning? And if you could give us some real-life examples of how you're going to implement this, that would be great.
Okay. The Discovery Learning Lab is a facility that will be within the Discovery Learning Center, and it will be one of the focus areas of the building. And it's here where the undergraduates and the graduate students, working together with the faculty and the staff, will create these engineering products that we've been talking about. In some cases, we're talking about work that will occur as part of a class. In some cases, we'll talk about work that's extracurricular. An example of a product might be, for example, an autonomous rover that is designed to, let's say we have an earthquake and we have a building that's down and unsafe for humans to go in, but we think that there might be people trapped in the building. This would be a place where we might design and build a rover that was capable of entering the building, surveying the building, sensing for dangerous chemicals or sensing for the for life, and as a way to help us, let's say, save lives without risking lives. That might be one example. Another example might be this might be a place where we could create technologies, or at least test technologies, let's say, that could apply to children with orthopedic disabilities. Okay, so this is an area that Marquette's very interested in, where we integrate engineering with medicine and to create a product to help children. And this would allow undergraduates, graduate students, researchers, and postdocs, to get together from engineering, from sciences, potentially from business, to create a product to help people. And so that's what Discovery Learning is really about, is providing the opportunity for students to learn about the environment that they will exist, that they will find themselves in when they go get their first job in industry.
Thank you, Bob. I think the next question that we're going to address today is really the mission that Content for Engineers is moving forward on, and it sounds like you're trying to change some of the culture here at Marquette. So I'd like you to address this question. I've heard you quoted as saying the United States has moved from a manufacturing age to an information age, and now to a creative age. So what skills do or will engineers need in this creative age that you're talking about here?
Okay, so if I can say that, the way I think about it is that some years ago manufacturing was key. And it still is key today, actually. Still is a very important part of what we do. But we went from that manufacturing with the advent of computers, as computers got smaller, as sensors got smaller, as actuators got smaller, at the same time became more price effective. We started thinking about in terms of manufacturing devices that were smart. And so in this sense then, information became important. And we started thinking about software and software architectures and, creating electronic devices that were really based on computers and microcomputers. I think now that those things are there, and of course are still important to us, as is manufacturing. Now we're moving into a situation where it's not so much that as an engineer, for example, how to solve a differential equation, although that is important, but you have a global sense of the engineering environment. Let's say that includes not just the technology, but also the business side of it, also the environmental side of it, also the global impact side of it, and involved in all this is the word creativity. Somehow engineering students have got to have ways to express their creativity. I believe that engineering students are creative. I think they've always been creative. But the educational experience has not been such that we've drawn that out. And so that's where I think we are in engineering education. And that's where I think we are in terms of engineering positions. For example, I would like our students to leave Marquette University and be leaders in their field, be able to lead projects, for example, be able to know a little bit about a lot of different areas, but still be capable of digging deep into a technical area. So not suggesting that I'm not suggesting that mathematics is not important or science is not important. I'm just suggesting that in addition to those things, we really need to start thinking about, how do those things fit together? How do mechanical engineers, electrical engineers interface with business? How do they interface with public relations? If you create a product that's going to be designed at your company but manufactured in another country and maybe programmed in even a third country, how do you manage that enterprise? And so that's where I think we're going. That's what discovery learning is in my mind. And at Marquette, the Discovery Learning Complex is going to provide the real estate for us to be able to teach those things and learn about those things.
Thanks, Bob. And I think you kind of addressed my last question about practical skills that an engineer will need today. And it sounds like that is the philosophy is that you need the basic core curriculum, but at the next breath, you're going to need to learn the practicality of becoming a real engineer when you graduate. And I know that that philosophy is being embraced now with your direction here at Marquette. So one of my last questions I'd like to talk about is something that we didn't address earlier in today's discussion, but it's about the engineering community. We here in Content for Engineers, we're all about educating the young and the veteran engineer on helping him do his job better. But we also hear there's a shortage of engineers out there in the real world. Can you kind of address the excitement that you see in the engineering community, and that the United States will continue to, the school system, engineering system you see in the United States will continue to lead innovation here? And if you could address that even at a practical level at Marquette as well.
Well, I think that there's no question that if you look at the numbers, you can convince yourself that there are other countries who are graduating more engineers than us. And my sense is that that's fine. We aren't going to catch up in the numbers, and I don't even think that should be our goal. I think our goal should be to create engineers that can lead projects and can create in environments where innovation and creativity can exist. What I mean by that is I think about some of the younger engineers that are coming into college today. They don't have an innate sense of how things work, but yet being engineers, they want to tinker. And so what discovery learning is about, and what we're trying to do in engineering education, is provide those students who have never rebuilt a car engine, who have never fixed a television set, for whom hands-on means they've added additional RAM to their PC. Those students, though, have a desire and to get their hands on and to learn how to apply the mathematics and sciences. And to me, that's where the excitement is. And those are the kinds of engineers that I think are going to lead the world. They're going to create the new technologies and the new innovations. And that's where I see the U.S. going. It's not so much in the day-to-day engineering, but in leading engineers around the world. And that's why I think it's really important for engineers to have a more global view of their work. Because, in fact, the work, the designs, the manufacturing, the implementation will occur all over this planet, not just locally in the U.S. So for me, the excitement is to tell a young student in high school, hey, at Marquette University, you can not only learn about a robot, you can build one. You can not only learn about a small spacecraft, you can build one and launch one into space. You're interested in helping people at Marquette University, you can create a device that will help a young child with a disability walk for the first time in their lives. And so that's how I see it. It's not a question of numbers, it's just a question of quality. And I think in terms of quality, we need to be able to provide our students with the hands-on experience that I think that they need once they go out into industry so that they can create new jobs, new technologies, and there lies the excitement, I believe, in engineering.
Well, thanks, Bob. The last question we have for today's interview is, you've told me you've worked on, the reason you have a passion for academia is that you like to educate and move people forward and get people to think visionary and make them become innovative. And you said you've traveled all over the country since you took this position to see a lot of manufacturing facilities, and you worked in the past with Boeing and with NASA. And tell me, what do you see that is going to move? We see the smart car, we see HD TV, we've seen the microwave. Is there anything that's a passion of yours that you really want to see the Discovery Learning Lab take on? And if you can address that, and we'll move from there.
There are major challenges facing us in the world today: energy, water, clean water, food, the environment, healthcare, transportation. I want Marquette and Discovery Learning to participate in the partial solutions to all of these problems. For example, in the case of transportation, we have the possibility today with the technology to instrument our roads, to instrument our bridges, to do health monitoring. And I think Marquette can play a role there. I think that's very exciting and something that I'm very passionate about. I was in Washington. I met with our representatives there and our senators there to talk about how important it was for the country to be able to monitor the health of roads and buildings, for example. Certainly, as I've mentioned before, I think that in the biomedical engineering area, to me that's key. Being able to help a young child walk when they would not have been able to walk before by utilizing technology, to me would be an amazing result and something that I dream about. Of course, in terms of energy, right now, I think if we could be somehow involved in a new battery, I think energy storage is a key area where there's a lot of work to be done. And certainly in Wisconsin, we're very interested in energy with the Wisconsin Energy Research Consortium of universities and industry trying to solve that problem. So that will be a centerpiece also of the Discovery Learning Complex. So in summary, I think that what's exciting and what drives me is to know that somehow Marquette will be involved in the solution of some of these problems that are facing the world.
Well, I want to thank you, Bob, and I want to thank you and your staff today for making time for Content for Engineers, CFE Media. And I look forward to coming and taking a tour of the new building and making sure that we see the practicalities of the projects that you're working on in place in manufacturing in the new year. And look forward to keeping our relationship going. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.